coffee business is competitive and cutthroat. Only the best survive and only the excellent thrive. The GG Espresoo coffee chain was created by a man who represented his country at the highest level. His demand for excellence and his competitive spirit has helped the chain grow to 24 outlets. But he admits he could not have done it on his own. Hi Erica and George, it's so nice to be here meeting you and talking to you in front of your cafe.
Thank you, thanks for having us on the show.
So where did the idea for GG Espresoo come from?
I think from our travels, in particular Italy, we were fortunate to do quite a bit of travel with George's rugby, and we passionate about coffee, and we very much love the real Italian espresso style. In those days, there weren't really many espresso bars, cafes were not like they are today, and so we really brought that concept back and started up with that.
And where was the first cafe?
That first one in Clarence Street, which is interesting, just came out of Wynyard Station, and we were just this little walkway, which is maybe 28 square metres, wasn't it? It was a really tiny store. We did our R&D at the time by I was clicking away to see how many people walked past it, like how many people were buying coffee nearby, and then potential business based on those numbers, and that's how we kicked off our first one.
So how did you go about creating a blueprint for the first one and then following that through?
Eric always came from this background, worked in hotels, had a own restaurant and bar when we met in Melbourne, and my role, obviously with the profile of rugby, is probably a little bit of PR and driving the brand aspect to it. We should call it now. We weren't really calling it a brand then.
Yeah.
And that's been really successful, and that's why it's healthy and it operates quite well. Don't you think?
I think so.
So tell us about the coffee.
That's a very important aspect of our business, is coffee. I do constant tastings and constant training with the product. We have been long-term users of all-press coffee. They have an extraordinarily amazing roasting process. They roast everything in a flue. It's all dry roasted, so the beans aren't crashing around. And really, it's the technology that is cutting edge. It's the best roaster, I believe, in the Southern Hemisphere.
So tell us a bit about the menu. Who designs the menu and how would you explain the menu options?
It's definitely a collaboration. We've got an executive chef, a senior team sit around and talk about what we'd like to see, we'll find new products, that kind of thing. It's also about the kitchen size. Some of the espresso bars don't really have much of a kitchen, and we toasted sandwiches, great pastries, and some of them have a fabulous kitchen, and we've got wine bars that have a full brasserie menu, so they're quite different.
You get inspired by the different places that you go, and often by some of the food that you'll eat, and potentially you might add that into our menu, and you speak to the executive chef, you speak to the senior team and say, hey, what do you think of this, potentially, on the breakfast menu, on the lunch menu, on the dinner menu, and if there's a palate for it, we'll put it on. It's really important to refresh it because you've got to listen to your customers, and there's things which stay on the menu and there's things you just like to tick over as well.
Okay, a personal question now. How do you both have your coffee and who makes it at home?
I have a short macchiato. I don't have it, not a piccolo latte, I have a short macchiato, and I like half a raw sugar in mine. That's how I like to have my coffee.
That's very specific.
Yeah, it's simple though. It's simple. Simple needs. You can get that anywhere in the world too.
Yes, I also drink a macchiato with a ristretto shot. No sugar.
That causes trouble in our cafes
Causes lots of trouble. Sometimes I get the half sugar.
She's not happy. Yeah, and at home, the only time I get to make a coffee is if I'm making it for myself or when my parents come around. When we have a larger sort of group, Erica takes the machine and drives it because she knows how to drive that machine. I still on my oil plates.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. It's been so much fun chatting with you, and it's so good to see your store.
Thank you.